All right, up next we're going to install Exchange. Exchange sits inside of Active Directory. It is a site-dependent tool. I haven't gone over Active Directory sites, but essentially any site that you create, you must also include an Active Directory server, a global catalog server, and then typically an Exchange server if you want mail routing through those sites. So you can see here I've created this server. I'm going to go into that server. Let me scale that down. And hopefully that's recording. We'll find out when I come back to the watch it again. So inside of this server, um, let me check one other thing real quick. Sorry. All right. Let's hope that it's recording. We'll find out on the playback. So what you do is you can Google Exchange 2016 prerequisites. When you click on the link, Microsoft thinks it's smarter than you. It will take you to the 2019. 2013 is just about done, so if you're coming from that, there is a different steps that need to be taken. So here are the, and it looks like they still have a link to it. So if you're coming from 2016, there's some articles out there. This is just building 2016 from the ground up. And so there's some articles here to make sure that you meet the requirements. We installed the Active Directory Server 2012 R2, which is fine for what we're doing. And I'm going to install these on this computer and do all of the work. But typically, if you're in a big organization, you're going to have the Active Directory team prepare Active Directory, and then you will do the other things. So first things first is we need .NET 4.8. We'll let that download. C++ for 2012. We'll get that downloaded. And we need the 64-bit version. So we'll download that. And 2019 actually requires some more things. We'll copy this. We're going to install the RSAT, which is the remote server administration tools for Active Directory domain services. So we'll need to open up PowerShell as administrator. And we'll paste that in, install. So that's going to install in the background. And then there's the prepare. We're going to open this in a new tab. The prepare Active Directory domain. And some additional things here. Let's see, update required. Windows components no longer require this. So they're actually wanting you to remove this if it's no longer needed. I'm not going to do that at this point. And then here's some more PowerShell that has to be ran. The easiest way to do this is just hit copy here. We'll open up your PowerShell and we'll paste that in. And you can see RSAT's actually on here as well. So even though they had you do it, they're going to do it again. And so this is going to install all the necessary prerequisites. So 4.5, the .NET, ASP.NET, some HTTP. I believe, yeah, you got RSAT clustering. So you Exchange is a clustered tool, some web interface tools. So we'll go ahead and hit enter on that. While that's doing that, we're going to go ahead and install the C++ 2012, agree to their terms. That will install. It looks like it's already done. And then the other piece here, this is the .NET 4.8. That's going to take a minute. And then there is a security update. I don't know if it's necessary, but we will give it a shot. Da-da. Go back to the install. I think this one's all set, so close this one. Come back here. Now, and then we also need 2013. We need the English version. And that's downloading now. It gave it a new number because of the download. Microsoft, for whatever reason, keeps the same name for these installs. So that's done. Go back. One more back, maybe. Here we go. So that's installed. There's an IIS, so the internet service here. There's a rewrite module that needs to be installed. So we'll install that. And so the English version, 64-bit. We'll install that. Well, IIS is still installing, so what I'll do is I'm going to actually just download it, and we'll worry about that in a minute. The API, so this the Unified Communications Managed API is actually more for Lync, Skype for Business, those tools, but it's still a requirement that you have to have this downloaded. So we'll let that run. And then this gets into the Edge Transport Server. So you can see they break it down based on what you're installing. So this will be our mailbox server. We'll worry about the Edge Transport Server later. And then this piece up here is for Active Directory. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mount. I am going to go media. Oh, there's no media there. So let's come in here. We'll add a DVD drive. Oh, and you're not seeing what I'm doing for some reason. So essentially what I'm doing while you're all looking away is mounting an ISO. So the other thing you can do, Exchange 2016 ISO download. So if you Google that, Microsoft will take you to their download site, and then you download this file here, and what it's going to do is it's going to download an ISO file, and then I just mounted it into my virtual server. So let's finish these updates. Finish, and we're going to have to do a rewrite or a reboot. So let's finish these installs. Oh, I'm missing the Media Foundation. Okay. I have to run a couple of reboots. So, unsupported browser, let's get rid of that. Okay, so we're missing this one here. So we're going to install Windows feature and get a bunch more stuff that we need. So we're going to copy that, paste it in here. And it looks like only one thing installed. So there's just one difference between the two. Let's see if that, close this, go ahead and do our reboot, and I'll see you on the other side. the benefit of dealing with virtual machines is that they reboot very quickly. Looks like we're going to be pushing some updates with this, so bear with me. All right, we're going to log in. Logging into a domain as a domain user. That's something else to make note of. Let's go back to our downloads. We got the rewrite on here. Let's see if this will install now. Accept the terms, install, finish, and then the runtime that didn't get installed. Let's do that. Accept those terms. I'm not going to send any information to Microsoft. They get plenty of information from other people. And you saw Link 2013 was listed on here. So Link Server 2013 components. So this is very Link chat oriented. So now that those are done, I'm hoping that my drive is still active. Yep, it is. All right, so what we're going to do now is the Active Directory piece. So let me bring up the website again for you. So the Exchange 2016 prerequisites. We're going to go into 2016 and then prerequisites for preparing Active Directory, and then prepare Active Directory domain. So here's the article on it. The key components here are down here where we're going to extend the Active Directory schema. So there's two parts to this. You have to prepare the domain, and you have to run this in each child domain. So if you're a big organization, there's a few more steps to this, but we're going to use prepare schema and prepare AD. So to do that, we're going to run the setup.exe. You're going to accept the terms of use and then prepare the schema. And then after, so here's a couple of different examples. And then after you prepare the schema, you have to then prepare the Active Directory, and then you get an organizational name. Now, if one exists, you're going to put it in here now. If one doesn't exist, you're going to add one in. So let's run the command prompt as administrator. So run as administrator. Let's see, what's our drive letter? D. So to switch to D, you just hit D:, and then you're going to type in setup.exe, and then you're going to do your /, and I'm going to copy this part out. And actually, I'll show you something really cool. If you do /, it'll give you all of the things that you can help. So help install, and that's the install, and all the things that you can do. For us, we are going to need the one for prepare topology. So prepare topology. And so this is the things that you need to do to get this up and running. So with that said, /, and we're going to use this guy here because I don't want this one. So we'll go ahead and paste that in. I'm going to turn this off. Hit enter. And you can see here it's copying the files over to a directory. It's going to look for additional information for the installation. Doing a pre-check, extending the schema. And because we did all those installs, there's no analysis to return back. That's bad. And while that's finishing up, I'm going to come in here to save a few minutes. I'm going to copy this guy. And there's one last one where we have to prepare all domains. So that's done. Paste this in. Give it an org name of Good Home. And let's turn off the diagnostic data. And we're preparing the Active Directory. And while that's doing that, I'm going to copy this guy. Hopefully that doesn't take too long. Oh, so this one didn't finish. Can't be used because it contains invalid character. So it didn't like my characters, huh? So let's try double quotes. Sometimes the characters that come in from your keyboards can cause problems. If we look here, what did they use? Yeah, they use double quotes. So make a point to use double quotes so that this works properly. And Microsoft's nice enough to include some reference documents that you can see here. So if you need to go and learn some more things, you can do that about Exchange here. And then the other thing I'll probably do too is I'll at least create one more Exchange server as part of this project. I'll do that offline. The idea there is that I would like to set up the clustering so that way you can see how a DAG is configured and all of the fault tolerance or failover capabilities that Exchange has. And I'll show you how to patch them and all the fun things that come along with it. And then once this is completed, I'm going to now show you through the GUI here on how to install Exchange, which is just this setup.exe. And now that that's complete, we'll run this. I'm going to ignore the updates because I did download the latest update, and we'll let it do its thing. It's going to copy files to the local drive. All right. And then you get this beautiful entry page. Microsoft wants you to give their diagnostics. We're not going to do that because this is just a dev environment. I will not use the recommended settings because, again, they want you to give feedback to Microsoft. I don't want to do that. I'm going to create a mailbox role. What you can see here is it automatically checks the box for management tools. But if you were installing just the management tools, you could do that. Or if you wanted to do an Edge server, you could do that. And then I'm going to tell it to automatically install any server roles and features. In case we missed anything, it should be fine. Because I am just running a virtual machine, I just have the C drive. A lot of people will put this in a separate directory. I will create separate drives for the DAGs to sit on. They will not be on the C drive. I'll show you how that works. But putting in this in the C drive is fine for now. But if you're in an organization, typically people will give you a second drive to install Exchange on and store the logs there. We are not running a split security for Exchange, so I'm not going to check that box. You can see I have an organization name now of Good Home. We did that during the setup. I'm not going to disable malware scanning. We'll go ahead and leave that on. And now it's doing the prerequisites check again. And in theory, it should be back with no prerequisites. I'm crossing my fingers, but I believe it should be fine. And so it's saying here that I need this KB. So let's click on that. And of course, it takes me, I don't want to use IE. So it wants this patch. So download this guy here. And we are server 2012 R2. Download that package. And we'll run it. Yes. Close, close, close. We'll tell it to retry. Come on. Almost there.
There we go. It was done. It's now installing. There's 14 parts here. Once it's done, it'll show up here in your tools. You can search for Exchange, and it'll show up as an option. It also will show up down here. You can see I installed the Active Directory tools, which are now on here, clustering. IIS got installed, both 6.0 and the new manager failover is here. So in theory, we will hopefully see all of that be brought in. Now this can take some time. it is going to copy essentially this 6 gigs over to our C drive for storage. So it's not a fast process, but we will be patient, and hopefully that will go through quickly. I'm not sure if I can pause the video, and then I will come back when it's done.
And I'm back. As you can see, it successfully completed, and it took a little over 10 minutes or so from start to finish. And now that we hit finish, we can see we now have, hopefully, the Exchange and the Exchange shell. So the Administrative Center is going to take you to the local host, ECP, the Exchange Administrative Center. So we'll continue, and I'm hoping that Administrator is part of the organizational management. If not, it'll fail, and we can work on that in another video. I'm not sure if this is also set up. Yeah, I don't have permission. So we'll work on that in the next videos, but that gets us Exchange installed.